for the toxic woman, when she says that she wants a man to check her, the toxic woman is saying, I need to be riled up. I need to be allowed to be riled up. I need to be allowed to disrespect you, but I need you to check me when I'm disrespecting you because I anticipate I'm going to disrespect you. And the only way I know that you love me is because you give me that energy back. But that's toxic, right? So when a toxic woman is saying, I need you to check me, that's essentially where it's coming from. She's so dysfunctional and dysregulated that she doesn't want to be regulated because that doesn't occur to her as healthy. She wants the love bombing because she's thinking, I'm so fly. Why wouldn't a man want to love bomb me? Is that love bombing or do you really love me, right? That's what she's looking for. But a healthy woman is saying, I'm looking for us to be in a partnership and union. And in order for that to be the case, we have the power of agreement. We have the power of unity. And the only way I'm going to know when I've stepped out of the bounds of our agreement is if you alert me. So that is what a healthy check is. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that in a relationship.
I think that she knows that she's toxic and maybe she can't really get out of her toxic ways herself. So being in a relationship, she needs to have somebody to check her, meaning like, nah, that's not cool. You can't do that. Like, you can't talk to me this way. And she'll be like, okay.
That sounds like somebody who's trying to be reformed. Like she's in process. Maybe she wants to become healthy. Because some people can be in transition.
Oh.
An unhealthy person, that's on the grounds of like codependency. Codependency means in order for me to be okay, I need you to be like me. I need you to do what I do. We can't have any gradient differences in our relationship because the moment that you seem different, the moment that I can't do exactly what I want to do and you're not doing exactly what I want to do. So if I need 1,000 hugs and 999, you tell me that's enough, I'm spazzing, right? And now I need you to contend with me. I need us to go to bat. That is somebody who does not allow for individuality within the context of a relationship. That's unhealthy. That's codependency. So when an unhealthy woman is saying, I need my man to check me, is what I'm saying is that she wants him to agree to her toxic level. She has no intention of transforming. She has no intention of being better. She just wants the combativeness because that to her means she's getting attention. That to her means that she is loved, she is cared for. That means that she can get in his head.
There's also another way of checking, right? And I think, there's another, specifically speaking, type of woman that needs checking.
Okay.
And that's not the type of woman, she's not, toxic or not. I'm not going to put her in any category of toxic or healthy. She's just been so strong on her own. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, I'm a man and I see a lot of men out here nowadays who are just weak ass men. And she can literally do whatever she wants to them. Mm-hmm. And she just wants a man who can actually stand his ground. Mm-hmm. She just wants a man who's unwavering. She just wants a man who can set boundaries. Even if she doesn't agree with them, she will try it out because he's unwavering of those boundaries as long as it's not to her detriment.
Right.
She wants a man who's going to display strength. That's what I've always gathered from a woman who wants to be checked, mm-hmm. right? There are the toxic ones too, but mm-hmm. The ones that want to be checked just wants a man who can display his strength, display the fact that he's a leader, because everybody wants to be a leader, and leadership is not just take my hand. And no, leadership, sometimes you got to push him in that direction. Mm-hmm. That's what a real leader is. Leadership sometimes is forceful. Mm-hmm. And sometimes a strong person needs to be forced, not in a, crazy way, right. But it needs to be forced onto the right path. And that's what I gather when those women need checking. Because when she's too strong for that man and she knows that she's like, yo, I'm making a decision. It could be a business decision. It could be whatever. Mm-hmm. But she knows she's making a decision that she's unsure of. And the man, instead of saying, hey, what you should do is this, he's like, okay, cool. Let's just go with the flow.
Right.
Right. And a lot of times that woman feels like she's the man now. And when she feels like she's the man, those are the women who yearn to be checked. Because they're like, I can't wait for a man to just be a man. And no matter how strong I am, I still need this man to be able to bring me down. Whether it be, in a polite way, a gentle way, or maybe a little bit more assertive way. She just wants that ability to be present or attribute to be present. But no, I'm just saying that I study women. I know women. I learn women. You have to know a thing or a person or, a device so well that you can manipulate it to your benefit. The key is having regulation within yourself where you don't do it to their detriment. So, but the only way you can do that is if you actually know it. I know women. That's what I do. I love women. So I've been around women since I was like a little jit. You know what I'm saying?
So if the feminine is like, the Bible says the woman is the weaker vessel. And if I know, if my subconscious awareness, I know that I'm weaker, I'm gonna want to be drawn to strength. And the only way that if I know that something can manage or handle the weight of my purpose, the weight of my future, is to shake it a little bit, right? You gotta feel me. Like if I know I'm gonna sit somewhere and I'm looking at it, and I want to know if it's sturdy. If I know I have a table, I'm gonna put something on. I'm gonna test to see, is it gonna bend, bow, or break? So women will do that subconsciously. And the fact that you know that is healthy, because when most men experience that feminine testing, they get irritated by it. And as opposed to providing some reassurance and saying, hey, this is the plan, or this is the original agreement, remember? And remind her of that. They get frustrated, they get upset, and they're just like, yo, what's going on here? What's happening here? As opposed to just regrouping her, which would be the checking, right? Like all of these things are healthy, and the polarity of it is healthy. And it's also exercising him as well, right? Because it's causing him to be present, it's causing him to be aware, it's causing him to stay on the path that they're intending to beat.
But sometimes there's not a there's a point in time where it becomes overdone. Right. And sometimes like testing, I definitely agree. We all need to get tested in school, you get tested in life, right? We all need to be tested. And my thing is, when you test too much, that just shows signs of, distrust. You don't trust the person that's you're, allowing to lead, or you don't trust that person, to teach. So what happens is, it has to be done in moderation. And I personally feel like there's no moderation within anybody nowadays. But if you can test within moderation, then I think that's healthy. But when you're testing just to test consistently, because that's the only way you can gauge your situation, that's when you can unlock the frustrations of that man.
Well, that's the equivalent to me testing this table and putting something on it and then doing it over and over again. That's insane. That's not what I'm saying.
No, there's a lot of insane women.
There's a lot of when I see people like that, I just be like, they walk among us. That's my keyword.
They walk among us.
They walk among us.
They walkers.
Yes. They look healthy. They got good jobs. They make good money. They own some things. They got some assets. And yet something is not quite right. So they give off that, they're high functioning. Right? These are the high functioning. They walk among us. Be careful, y'all. Right? All the things that occur to someone as healthy, right? You can manage your life. But when it comes to interpersonal relationships and dynamics, they can't do it. When it comes to respecting boundaries, they're not capable. They are attractive as all get out, right? Like you cannot rely on somebody's looks. You cannot rely on somebody's wealth accumulation capacity. You have to rely on the power of agreement. If you're looking for marriage specifically, the power of agreement is the key. Agreement, unity, and harmony. And of the three, what's most important is agreement. So the reason why agreement is important is because if I'm checking this table, I'm trying to see if this table is strong or not. And we're going to have an agreement on how sturdy it is, right? Like the purpose of this table is to carry something, right? To hold on to something. And I want to know how far can I go? So I'm going to put until I know, okay, this is its limit. I'm not going to go past that. So I might make some arrangements. I'm going to take some things off. Once I've established in my mind and I understand its capacity and I work within those bounds, that's the power of agreement. Now we can agree. But if I'm going to constantly test something for the sake of testing and throw heavy things on it or mismanage it, right? Now we're talking about toxicity. That's what we're observing. And the only reason why we believe, right? Most people believe there's a lot of toxic relationships. That's not necessarily true. What it is that a lot of the healthy ones are minding their business. Every plane that has a safe landing does not make the news. Only the planes that crash make the news. So social media is nothing but plane crashes.
It's highlighting the worst.
They're highlighting the worst. There are a lot of people that are in healthy, beautiful, sacred, wonderful marriages where there isn't any infidelity, there isn't any drama. There's a lot of that exists. It's not gonna make the news.
Well, I also do think that the power of agreement in if I had to give it a synonym, excuse me, if I had to give it a synonym, I would just consider that foundation, right? It's a foundation. And the problem is a lot of people, women and men, don't have foundation, didn't grow up with foundation. They don't have any structure. It could be from a one-parent household or a two-parent household. It could be from a wavering parent that was present. But that because there's no foundation there growing up, for them to respect or appreciate or even understand having a foundation set in a relationship, they won't. So they continuously test it until it crumbles, right? And sometimes some people need to lose, 2, 3 great things in their life to understand what foundation is, because it wasn't prevalent while they were growing up.
Can't recognize it.
Hey, I know that this is supposed to be good, but, let me just add one more block to it.
Right.
And next thing you know, it's the straw that broke the camel's back. And that's the thing that I really feel like we hear a lot of these people who never had foundation, or don't have foundation or didn't have structure, not disregarding unorthodox structure, because there is structure even though it may be unorthodox, but just structure within itself. Sometimes these people don't have it. A lot of people I feel like don't have structure.
Right.
A lot of them don't have it. And because of that, what happens is they grow up as adults without structure. And when they get into relationships and people try to supply structure in these relationships, they're not receptive.
Right.
That's why I told you I have a power agreement. Look, I know the rules. My whole life was rule based, and then I always figured out how I could manipulate some things here and there to my favor,
which is healthy.
Yeah, right. But that's why even personally, I remember my first real girlfriend when I was in high school, and I was telling her this, and this.
She's to the first girlfriend.
Yeah, she was a great woman. She's married now, right?
Never mind. Sorry, I take that back.
But I told her, I gave her the rule book, and she was like, I feel like I'm dating a drill sergeant because there's so many rules.
Wait, did you grow up in a military kind of background?
No, not at all. But
how did you develop that?
Well,
especially if this was your first girlfriend.
Right.
The thing is,
your first real girlfriend, you had practice girlfriends.
Jeez.
No, yeah.
Your middle school, elementary school girlfriends.
Those girlfriends don't count. The first real one, yeah. No, but the thing is, I played sports. So my mom worked 3 to 4 jobs. I played sports my whole life. Our schedule was jam-packed. You could not miss a beat because my mom had to go to this job. In between those jobs, I had to go here to here to here to here. So we've always had structure every day, Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week. Whether my sister had a sport, I had a sport, we had to go to a babysitter, a family.
Predictable.
Yeah, so everything was structured. Everything was aligned. It was chaotic. It was tough. It was whatever, but there was structure. That's the way we made it, the transition. So when I became, a teen and even an adult, I still need structure. I'll plan my week out. Literally, I'll pick out my gym outfits on Sunday, from Sunday to Saturday. Just because I was like, all right, I need to know exactly what I'm wearing because I don't want to have to think about it that time. Right? So I've always had this type of structure. And because of that, I provide it within a relationship, and I know what works well with me. I know what doesn't. So for her, it was like, yo, this is too much. And I was like, all right, well, if it's too much, then, just give me the book back and go.
It's okay to give the rules, give the boundaries as you guys make your way into the relationship day by day. So you guys know what works for each other, not just you. And you guys work on that to see if you guys are compatible and see if you guys can, stay within these boundaries or, make it work, whether she agrees with the rules you give her or not. But just handing somebody a set of rules and be like, this is what I accept, this is what I don't, that kind of might seem like too much for somebody. It might seem very
stifling. It could be stifling.
It kind of gives parent vibes.
It is
too.
It does, but it does give parent vibes.
I was a young
also,
OG. You know what I'm saying?
I also think that a lot of times when guys grow up in a sports environment, it can hurt and it can harm. It can harm in a sense that sometimes guys who grow up in a sports environment thrive off of harsh feedback. It doesn't affect y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's like water off of a duck's back. But then it gets modeled in an intimate relationship with a woman who may not be able to you know what I'm saying, absorb that shock of being told what she's doing or not doing well or right, especially if it's very curt and to the point, right? Like just a straight shoot. I'm just going to tell you what I don't like and that's it. And then she has to kind of absorb that. And we have to really ask ourselves, what am I asking for? If I want a feminine woman, then she's going to have some sensitivities, right? She's going to need some nurturing. She's going to need some softness because we have to nurture that soft part. So I think that, at a young age, there's some parts of it that's well, which is like, I know who I am. I know what I like. I know what my boundaries are. I'm going to share that with you. But I also think there's something beautiful about allowing it to kind of unfold organically. You know what I mean? And having a person understand it as the relationship progresses.